Target Market Assessment Program written by Jaunzemis. Copyright 2016 by Jaunzemis. All rights reserved. When you're not working on your game, remember, someone, somewhere is working on their game. And, when your dream girl shows up, he will get her Jaunzemis. Preface: I have been studying the art of seduction for over 20 plus years, and I have been involved within a secret underground society known as the seduction community, also known as the pickup artist community. That is PUA. Over the years I have become a master within the realms of attraction and seduction, and have now slept with over 200 plus women, 206 at the time of writing. I have experienced many joyous/wonderful/fulfilling relationships with many of the women in which I have successfully seduced. I have experienced threesomes, foursomes, fivesomes, and yes, even sixsomes. Myself and 5 women at the same time. I have been able to approach random women, complete strangers off the street, and have been able to have sex with them in as little as 5 minutes using my own top secret techniques. Yes, from open to close. I have been seen by countless numbers of students from all across the country approaching women to whom I have never before met, in malls, bars, nightclubs, and even grocery stores, and have been able to get their phone numbers in under 3 seconds. 2.7 seconds. As seen on my YouTube channel. I have had beautiful women buy me drinks, chocolates, shower me with gifts, and take me on expensive vacations. I have had women give me cars, clothes, pay for expensive dinners, pay for my airfare and hotel rooms to come and visit them in other states, and I have even had women pay me for sex. And much, much more. But hush. That's another conversation for another day. But I wasn't always this incredible with women. I used to be a very lonely guy, depressed, alone, and even suicidal at many points within my younger life. I have pictures. It was bad. You see, quite a few years back, I made the conscious decision/effort that I was going to change. I began voraciously consuming books in the self-help section of the Barnes & Noble bookstore. Now, over the course of the last 10 years I have read through over 2,500 plus self-help/self-improvement type books, and, over the course of my studies I was fortunate enough to discover mass amounts of life-changing information, to which I thus diligently began to apply within my own life. Over the years of trial and error, I finally was able to put all the random puzzle pieces together, and ended up creating phenomenal levels of success in my life with women and dating, and have since backwards engineered my methods. I have now made it my life's purpose to teach my secret tips, tactics, strategies, and techniques to other single men who are in need of this very secret and specialized knowledge. You see, seduction, just like the subjects of English, science, or mathematics, can be taught to the average man, which can and will, in time, with hard work and practice, yield to him real results with women. My goal here in writing this book is to help you to be able to achieve more of your goals with women, whether they be goals of getting more sex with more partners, finding the perfect partner for a monogamous romantic relationship, or just being able to get out there and have more confidence during social situations/interactions. The most important thing I want you to realize here is that the tips and techniques described within this book have not been created out of theory. These techniques have been tried, field-tested, and, when applied correctly, have been proven to work in real life. There are a lot of quote-unquote love gurus out there. The problem with so many of their methods is that their quote-unquote advice may sound really good, but most of their advice is not actually based on facts. What is happening here is that many of these gurus, or dating coaches, etc. out there, are most likely just giving you their opinions, and are really just teaching you theory, and not necessarily the real techniques that really work out there in real life with women. I believe that I have created a very solid and, more importantly, verifiable game plan. The material in which I am going to present to you here is material and which I myself and many of my students have personally used in order to achieve and experience monumental levels of success within the realms of women and dating. Over the course of the last 10 years, I have helped 100 of thousands of students the world over, both men and women, to achieve more success within their dating lives. I hope that you will take what I am going to teach you here and then use it to enrich your life. Please take the time to read this book in its entirety, and then take what you have learned here and teach it to all of your friends, both male and female. And then, once you've mastered this material, get out there and win the game. I wish you all the best. Your wingman, Ryan Jaunzemis. The process before you can get the girl, you must first become worthy of the girl. Let's call her your target. And, before you can become worthy of winning your target's love and affection, you must first in fact become the type of man to whom your specific type of woman wants/desires, and most importantly, needs in her life. Most guys in the PUS/seduction community, that is pickup artist, go out night after night, repeatedly to open set after set, that is chat up groups of random people, talking to any girls who might respond to them. The problem here is that this type of behavior is, 1, not at all useful, and 2, is an incredible demonstration of extremely poor time management. If you're just trying to go out and work on your approaching techniques, and/or attempting to try and tighten up your opening game, or just out there trying to score a quick lay, or to get lucky, etc., then by all means play the numbers game. But, if you're really searching for a real meaningful relationship with the type of women in which you believe you might really be attracted to, then I would like to propose to you a radically alternate and much more logical/strategic method in order to help you to more quickly obtain that in which you may desire. You see, most guys don't even know what they want in a woman, so, in the next section and the first stage of my method, which I call Target Market Assessment, we will discuss and more clearly define what it is exactly that you as a man are really looking for in a woman. Over the years I have coached 1,000s upon 1,000 seconds of different men from all corners of the globe, and, in most cases, the first few questions in which I most often ask to any of my coaching clients are things such as, what are you looking for a relationship with a woman? Or, what is your dream girl like? Can you describe her to me? Or, more simply, what do you want in a woman? The answers to which most men will usually tend to reply with tend to be very simplistic words and/or short phrases. Things such as, I don't really know. Hot, I guess. While at other times, they may just simply answer with the phrase, I don't know. This is a major key problem. Can you relate to this situation? So, why exactly is this such an issue? Well, the problem with this is if you as a man do not know exactly, 100%, without a doubt, what it is that you are looking for, then how in fact are you ever going to find it? Our first goal here in learning how to assess our specific target market is to begin to develop a more clear and concise picture of what it is exactly that we are looking for in a woman. If one wants to eat a specific meal, then one needs to have a specific shopping list in mind so as to collect all of the exact ingredients, doesn't he? And, if one wanted to, for example, bake a specific type of cake, then one will need very specific items. Items such as eggs, flour, baking powder, salt, sugar, milk, etc. Now, let's take this one step further. Perhaps a person wanted to bake a very specific type of cake. What would happen if this person did not have every single one of the ingredients in which the recipe had called for? Well, if one does not have all of the exact ingredients, in the exact correct proportions, then this person would never get the exact cake in which this individual might have been trying to bake, would they? No, of course not. This person may end up getting lucky to some extent, and may in fact end up with a cake very similar to the one desired, but not the exact cake. Or, one may also completely blotch up the entire recipe altogether and just end up with one huge fucking mess. There are specific ingredients to not only 1, make a cake, but 2, to also bake a cake, and then 3, to ice a cake. But then you must also remember that we can't actually ice a cake until it is actually cooled down first. Again, you see, this is not cake baking theory. In order to bake a specific cake, there is an exact, step-by-step, scientifically proven process in which one must follow exactly. Does this make sense? I want you to stop for just a few seconds here and see if you can notice any of the issues here at hand. Can you see that there is clearly a step-by-step process to creating/baking a cake? Well, the same principles also apply when it comes to meeting and attracting women and during the human mating process. In the example of the cake, we must first clearly see an image of this cake within our mind's eye. Then, we need to gather the exact raw materials in order to actually make this cake. Next, we need to mix these ingredients together in a very, very specific manner/pattern, etc., 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 until, finally, we will then end up with the exact cake in which we so desired sitting in front of us in real life. Make sense? Meeting and attracting women is also a very similar process to this cake baking example. During the first stage of the human mating process, which I have defined as the target market assessment, in my method in which I call real game, you will learn how to clearly define on paper every minute detail about your specific target. That is who this woman is, what she looks like, who she is as a person, what type of clique might she associate herself with, where she hangs out, etc., 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 etc. We will discuss more on this later. Personal examples. Example number 1. I recently had a coaching session with a Latino client of mine who had mentioned to me on his initial consultation that he was only interested in having relationships with quote-unquote hot Latina girls. Upon hearing this, one of my first questions for him was, "And where have you been going out to look for this type of girl?" To which he replied, I don't know. Like, pure at Caesar's palace. Excess at the Wynn. I don't know. Stuff like that, I guess. To which I replied, well, those are great places to meet women, if you're into the 22-year-old, white, party girls, but that's not the place where you want to go if you want to meet hot Latina girls. If you want to meet hot Latina girls in Las Vegas, then you need to go to Latin Night at Crown Nightclub on Thursday nights, because that's Latin Night. Does this logic make sense to you? You see, if one wants a specific type of woman, then one needs to figure out exactly, not only who she is, but also what she's all about, so as to then be able to meet her halfway. There is much more to defining your ideal woman than just based upon what she looks like physically. Yes, that is part of it, but there is much, much more. I will explain. Example number 2, in a second example of this, I recently had a client of mine, who is a lawyer, say to me, I really want to date a hot raver chick. To which I then replied to him, that's great. Are you a raver yourself? To which he then replied, no, but those girls are hot. Well, here is the problem. Most guys have fantasies about certain types of women, and many of these guys are getting extremely frustrated as to why these certain/specific types of women are constantly rejecting and or not responding to them in the ways in which they might want them to. I want you to ask yourself this question. Why would a beautiful quote-unquote hot raver chick in which this particular man is interested in or fantasizes about, etc., want to be with a man who, 1, obviously doesn't know anything about her as a person, or about her lifestyle/culture/taste in music, etc., 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 that is no connection/commonality, etc. And 2, is obviously only interested in her because she's hot. Think about this situation for just a moment. If you were this woman, would you want to date some random stranger who was only interested in you because of your physical appearance? Now, let's delve into this situation a bit deeper. Why would this hot raver girl want to date some random nobody guy when if she's hot, she can most likely have her choice of any of the leading DJs at Electric Daisy Carnival, for example, thus allowing her to be in a relationship with someone who has higher social status within her specific community/culture/lifestyle, etc., and who naturally understands her and her world. That. Or even just a normal cool guy who she actually meets at a rave, who is also a fellow raver, a guy who actually knows and naturally understands her world. Does this make sense? In short, from now on, instead of just randomly continuing to go out to random events and mindlessly attempt to chat up random girls in the hopes of getting lucky, we will now instead be narrowing down our specific target market ahead of time, and will now only be going out to try to game this exact type of girl. Make sense? This is our new game plan. Taking it further now, in the next section, we will begin to start narrowing down exactly the specific types of girls in which we want to date. In this next section we will begin to narrow down who this girl is as a person. We will begin to narrow down exactly what she looks like physically. And we will begin to list any/all places in which this girl might hang out, along with the specific dates/times, etc. Now, if you're ready to begin the Target Market Assessment Program, then please, read on. Target Market Assessment. Target Market Assessment. By the end of today you will have defined clearly on paper what is your objective in this game. Defined more clearly your specific target market, that is TM. Chosen your new gaming locations solely dependent upon your specific target market. Warning. The following few exercises in which I will be presenting to you here will take quite a bit of effort on your part. You will not just be reading this literature, but you will also be going out to purchase a few supplies, which will cost you money, and this will require much research. Remember, if you want a real, scientifically proven, and verifiable game plan, then you must be prepared to do the groundwork. Right now it is not about getting the girl, so try to release any/all expectations you might have. Right now it is more important for you to learn the process. Focus primarily on trying to learn the process and the fundamentals, and everything else will take care of itself within the proper time. Good luck. Target Market Assessment Theory. Why go to the extensive effort to create a TM? Why not just go out sarging? A term coined by seduction guru Ross Jeffries, meaning to go out and look for pussy inspired from of his pet cat Sargy. Or, why not just do what all the other dating gurus tell you to do, and just go out and open 50 different sets each night, in the sheer hopes that one out of the 50 girls in which you approach might happen to respond positively, and give you the time of day? That is to randomly approach and attempt to chat up different groups of people. One will discover rather quickly that the entire PUS/seduction community is rapidly and repeatedly time and time again attempting to shove down the throats of most dating coaching clients and would-be PUS, what we might call the how, that is any/all techniques/tactics/strategies, etc. Or, to put it rather more simply, if you do A+B+C, then you'll get the girl, etc. This seems to be the basis for most of today's quote-unquote pickup or seduction strategies, and also, most of the leading dating coaches/gurus all believe that the entire dating process begins in the attraction phase, which it in fact does not. I'd like to propose to you this question: how can a man first begin to attract a woman, if that man does not first know who he is trying to even attract in the first place? And, 2, why is this man even trying to attract her? The next question that I'd like to propose to you is, how can a man start in attraction before this man has even become attractive himself? Think of it like this: a man is most likely not going to be able to attract a woman if that man is not actually attractive himself. Think about this for just a moment. You see, most men try to woo a woman similar to the ways in which a child may play a video game. A child will naturally grab a joystick/controller, etc., and will then mindlessly begin trying to press different buttons in the sheer hopes that some random combination in which he presses will then boom make a connection, or score points. or defeat the enemy, etc., etc., etc. But there's an exact proven science to attracting women, and, as we just discussed previously in the cake example, this process must be followed precisely if one is to attract the exact types of women to which they want. Benefits of assessing a target market-focused intention combined with action is a powerful force indeed. Though this statement is misleading, as it fails to mention the difficulty and necessity of focusing your mind upon one single specific goal/purpose. Many of us don't know what we want. We might think that we do, but we really don't. Most people only know what they don't want. They don't want a boring job. They don't want to be poor. They don't want to be with a woman that they don't want. Fair. Knowing specifically what it is that we do want is much different than knowing what it is that we don't want. When we only know what we don't want, our intentions aren't focused properly. Consider the following example. Meet Joe. Joe is like most other average guys. Joe is just a single guy who lives at home, alone, and who works his normal, boring, everyday 9-to-5 job. Joe is a lonely guy. Joe works his job day after day repeatedly only to come home, after a long day of work, to an empty house, and is then forced to eat dinner by himself. After dinner, Joe then proceeds into his normal evening routine of showering, watching some television/YouTube, etc., checking his email, and then finally as the night progresses he begins streaming/downloading some internet porn, begins masturbating, ejaculates, and then finally finishes off the evening by setting his alarm clock for work for the following morning. Does this situation sound familiar to you? Joe needs a woman in his life, but if one were to delve into Joe's life just a bit deeper, one would quickly come to discover two very important things. The first thing one might come to discover is that if one asked Joe what exactly that he's looking for in a woman, he most likely wouldn't be able to answer. In fact, most likely, Joe wouldn't have a fucking clue as to how to describe her. Joe might possibly use such nondescriptive words/adjectives, etc., in order to describe the type of woman in which he might want/fantasize about. That is, for example, hot, blonde, fun, sexy, etc., etc., etc. The problem here is that this communicates absolutely nothing as to what Joe really wants in a woman. The second thing one might quickly notice is that Joe's life is so boring and so monotonous that even if Joe could manage to somehow attract a woman, he would never, ever be able to keep that woman in his life anyways, because he doesn't live the type of lifestyle that most beautiful women find attractive in the first place. Now, regardless of Joe's specific situation, he still needs a woman, plain and simple. To accomplish this goal, Joe could travel down many different pathways/avenues, right? Joe could, for example, start out like most PUs, that is going out night after night, opening up every single set that he sees, and asking out any woman who began giving him or was willing to give him any indicators of interest. That is basically taking whatever he could get. Or, Joe could keep working hard and continue saving money in the hopes of creating a more extravagant and interesting lifestyle, to which might then later on down the road help him to attract a woman. Both of these strategies might seem pretty reasonable, right? Overall, Joe isn't really sure what he wants to do either way. Joe doesn't know which path might actually get him the real results in which he's really looking for, so Joe doesn't resolve to follow any particular path. Not good, right? As the days and nights continue to pass by, Joe investigates a dozen or so different possibilities, but as soon as he runs into adversity, Joe quickly decides that none of these paths are right for him. Finally, Joe will either try to move on to a new possible solution, or he may just give up his whole search entirely. Joe's actions aren't focused, period. Although Joe works very hard, none of his efforts build upon one another. Metaphorically speaking, rather than building one giant impenetrable sand castle, Joe has built 20 smaller little sand castles, which are easily toppled over. Joe ends up confused and discouraged, and ultimately his lack of focus will lead him to failure. Now, what if Joe had chosen a specific path? Suppose Joe had decided on a specific type of girl. You see, if Joe had first simply assessed his specific TM, then Joe's actions would have been clearly defined. Let's now help Joe to define his specific TM. Let's say, for example, that Joe discovers after finishing his MA that he wants to be with a white girl who is between 5(2-5), who has brown hair and brown eyes, who is intelligent, and plays an instrument. Now that Joe has narrowed down a specific TM for himself, he now has something to work with so as to thus then develop a real gaming strategy. Make sense? Joe's new game plan will now consist of 1. Because Joe wants to date a girl who is a musician, Joe will now begin changing his life and daily routine so as and begin taking music lessons. This means that he will now be learning to play an instrument himself so as to thus now assist him in establishing grounds of trust, comfort, connection and commonality, TCCC, between himself and his target once they finally meet during we shall describe in the attraction phase, which will thus then assist him later during the comfort phase. I discussed these and several other phases in several of my other programs, which I would definitely urge you to check out. 2. Joe will now also radically begin to alter his life so as to get accepted into a trade school or community college, music course, etc., so as to thus now help him to surround himself with a higher population density of his specific TM, which as previously mentioned, consists of quote-unquote, intelligent musically talented women. 3. Joe will also now change jobs and begin hosting an open mic night, thus now placing himself in a position where his specific TM will now be approaching him. 4. Joe will also now start his own band or music production company, etc., etc., thus placing himself in a position where his specific TM will possibly be positioning him for a position in his band, etc., thus placing himself as the selector/qualifier. 5. Joe will now also be working towards earning a degree in music. 6. Joe will now also try to get a job at a local record company as an or music producer, etc., thus now placing himself in a position where his specific TM will literally be throwing themselves at him. Note, most of these major life changes will begin to occur within the next phase of the real game process, which is known as Lifestyle Mastery, LM, which we will discuss another day. Taking it to the next level in the case of our example Joe, ask yourself this question: how can Joe choose a path if he doesn't know what he wants? Setting specific goals make it much easier to achieve whatever it is that you want, rather than a vague ending goal such as going out and trying to get laid, as most PUS, dating coaches, or dating gurus will teach during their boot camps and trainings. Being focused on a more specific path thus now gives Joe a logical set of actions in which to strive for and follow. Joe now knows that with each new accomplishment in which he achieves, he then becomes one step closer to his final goal, attracting and being with his dream woman. I think that we can all agree that committing to a clearly defined path, regardless of which one, gives Joe the best fighting chance of not only attracting a woman, but also getting the exact woman that he wants/desires, which in Joe's case is a white girl who is between 5(2-5), who has brown hair and brown eyes, who is intelligent, and plays an instrument. If you want to be successful with any certain/specific type of women, then you need to choose a specific path and follow it to the letter. But, on the other hand, if you aren't particularly concerned with any specific type of woman and are okay with just taking whatever you can get, then you can just take your time opening 20, 30, 40, or perhaps even 50 plus random sets per night, and continue talking to random girls and ultimately take whatever phone numbers, dates, or sex that comes your way. You decide. Being decisive, you as a man must understand that women are very, very decisive. Women behave like eggs, while men tend to behave more like sperm. The sperm will go for any egg, while the egg will only choose one single sperm in most cases. Make sense? You have to understand that sex is a gene-mixing mechanism that is what sex is primarily designed for. This is why you must learn to become more decisive. You don't really want to breed with just anyone, do you? You as a high-value man must learn to develop standards. Don't be afraid to say no to a woman who does not truly meet your specific standards/expectations. Remember, you are the man. This means that you are the prize, not her. Don't be afraid to disqualify certain girls who you believe may not be up to your standards. Begin to start being more a challenge. Don't be desperate. Don't be needy. Be selective. Try to learn how to identify what you as an individual want specifically in a partner, and try to explore different ways of achieving your goal or attracting this specific person. You can begin taking small action steps that may begin to move you, one small but significant step at a time, towards your specific goal. Again, this process will take time, but have patience. Your results will come, and you're going to, if you follow the process precisely, ultimately attract a higher quality woman than you ever have before. Look at the following examples of real women's online profiles about what they want, or what they're looking for, in a man. Notice the decisiveness in which they include about exactly who and what they want in a man. Example number 1, my name is Christina, I am 18 years old. I am looking for a young Hispanic male, 19-23. I want a long-term relationship that may lead to marriage and family. Notice that she is writing exactly what she wants. I am looking for a young Hispanic male, 19-23. I want a long-term relationship that may lead to marriage and family. Example number 2, I am only attracted to older white guys who are quirky, eccentric, outgoing. Age difference is a ridiculous reason not to be with someone. I am 19, but if I meet someone who turns out to be 35, I am not going to pass it up. Notice again that she is writing exactly what she wants. I am only attracted to older white guys who are quirky, eccentric, outgoing. The bottom line here, be decisive. You are the man. You are the selector. Recalibrating your targeting system, you are the selector. Your job with women, and with life, is simply to select the woman/women that you want, approach her/them, present yourself within the best possible light, and then allow her/them the opportunity to choose you over any other competing males. But before you can begin selecting, you must first know exactly what it is that you want. What do you want? Ask yourself the following questions. What are your goals with women? For example, do you want more sex, relationships, long-term relationships, LTRS, multiple long-term relationships, MLTRS, harem building, marriage, find your dream girl, circular dating, attract more female friends, more friends with benefits, FWBS, more confidence, etc. Think about this question for just a few moments, and then write down your thoughts in the space provided below. My next question for you is, what are your goals with life? For example, are you looking to land your dream job/career, finally own your dream car, or dream home? Think about this question for just a few moments, and then write down your thoughts within the space provided below. Understanding proper targeting. The secret to really understanding proper targeting is learning how to recalibrate your internal targeting system. You see, most guys just go out mostly on instinct and try to hit on the first hottest girl that they see, but this is also why most guys fail miserably when it comes to meeting/attracting women, because they only see/feel attraction in having to do with a woman's physicality. That is what she looks like. But there is much more to a woman than this. Note, you must begin learning how to see beyond your normal state of consciousness. You must begin learning how to see and understand women for who they are as people/individuals, and not just as sexual objects, which is how most men tend to view women. If you really want to begin achieving real success in meeting/dating/attracting women, then you are going to have to start learning how to understand women fully. This is another major key factor to your success. What I mean by this is, if you are only approaching random women, then you are only going to continue attracting random women, which may not necessarily be the woman and/or types of women that you may particularly want. Fair. However, if you begin to only approach the exact types of women that you want/desire, then sooner or later you are only going to end up with the exact woman or types of women that you want. Does this make sense? The first key to understanding women is to begin understanding ourselves as men. For example, try asking yourself the following 3 questions. 1. Why am I the way that I am? 2. Why do I naturally do the things that I do? 3. Why might I be attracted to the things in which I am naturally attracted to? Take just a few moments to ponder upon these questions. Try to start consciously taking notice on exactly what and why you may be responding to certain females, and/or certain female traits/characteristics, etc. Try, for example, to take notice when you feel the feelings of attraction beginning to overwhelm you whenever a beautiful woman is nearby. Then, try to begin to consciously ask yourself, is this person really all that? Does this person really meet my specific standards/expectations fully? You have to remember that you are the prize. Try to consciously begin to take notice if the woman standing before you is really the full and complete package that you're looking for, and is actually worthy of you as a man. Defining the term target. First, let's define the word target. What is a target? Target. A target is a specific girl that a man is interested in. Now, what exactly does this mean? Does this mean any girl? Does the term target refer to random girls at a bar/club, etc.? No, it does not. And this is where so many men screw everything up. The term target, in this specific context, refers to a specific girl or type of girl to whom a man is interested in. In the context of this lesson, the term target is not being used to refer to random girls or warm-up sets, or girls that you are having fluff talk with, etc., etc., etc. We are talking about a very specific girl or type of girl to whom may be the object of your affection. Does this make sense? This means that when you walk into a venue that is bar/nightclub, etc., 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 and see your perfect 10, that is the girl to whom you will be gaming, and that is the girl to whom you have the sole intent/purpose of having/developing a sexual relationship with. That is a target. Not just any random pretty girl to whom may come along. Does this make sense? What does total 10 mean to you? I want to ask you the question, are you really ready to step up your game and finally start going for what you really want in a woman? What I mean by this is, are you really ready to start consciously becoming super selective when it comes to meeting/dating/attracting women? Are you ready to try and begin to consciously ignore that initial knee-jerk-like reaction whenever some random pretty girl comes around, and instead, only begin going after the types of girls to whom you really and truly believe may be the exact type of girl that you want? Think about this for just a few moments. Yes, this can be extremely difficult at first, but you can train yourself to do this. And, in time, you will soon learn to ignore the women of lesser value entirely. In time, you will begin to only take notice of the exact types of girls that you are looking for. But, how does this happen? Well, you see, you actually have inside of your head an internal targeting system. It's just that you may have never known that it existed before. Most likely, this will be the first time that you have ever acknowledged it, thus it will need to be finely calibrated, just like the scope on a new rifle. But, with a little bit of practice, you will soon have a very sharp and precise targeting system which will quickly be able to hone in and lock onto any potential targets in which you may soon encounter. Now, let me ask you the question, when it comes to women, what would you personally consider to be a total 10? Please write down your thoughts in the space provided below. Reticular activation system in the medical field. Neuroscientists have defined what is known as the reticular activation system, RAS. This is a part of the brain that forms a special microsystem of nerve cells. These nerve cells link the medulla, pons, midbrain, and cerebral cortex, and act like a sentry/post. In PU/TM terms, this RAS system allows a person, for example, to either notice his friend talking, or notice a particularly attractive female passing by. The RAS tunes out the crowd, and it is almost as if one can only see and hear the thing which is the most valuable. Note, it sometimes takes great conscious effort to break out of the automated RAS influence. The RAS, from a survival and reproduction standpoint, has been designed to assist us in blurring out, or turning down, or even eliminating from our viewpoint altogether, things in which may be deemed of lower value. The problem with most men is that they are so desperate for any bit of love, attention, affection, or approval from women, is that they perceive all of the women in any particular venue as high value to them. Thus they see any woman as a potential option. This learned behavior must be eliminated if you are to begin achieving real success with women. We want to consciously learn how to tune out any/old females who do not meet our specific standards/specifications, and begin to only consciously acknowledge the ones that do. Does this make sense? This skill will take a bit of time and practice, but, in time, you will soon begin to notice that as you are out and about, that you begin to only see the exact types of women that you want to meet/date, etc., show up on your radar. If you can get to this point, then you will know then that your internal targeting system has thus been recalibrated. Note, in the next section we will begin to write down exactly what it is that you're looking for in a woman. If you believe that you're ready, then please, read on. Who is your target? Defining the term, target market, a specific type of women a man has consciously decided to aim his gaming efforts towards in the attempts to socially align with and or create a sexual relationship with. Note, a well-defined target market is the first element in creating a successful gaming strategy. Once your distinct TM has been identified, a specific gaming strategy can thus then be constructed. Remember, you must understand that there are many different types of women out there. Which one is right for you? Identifying your specific target market. Marketers typically combine several variables in order to define a specific TM/demographic profile. A demographic profile provides enough information about the typical member of any particular group in order to create a mental picture/image of this hypothetical aggregate. For example, a marketer may speak of the single white female, middle class, age 18-24, college-educated demographic, etc., etc. Researchers typically have two main objectives within this regard. 1. To determine what segments/subgroups exist in the overall world population. 2. To create a more clear and concise picture/image of any/all characteristics of a typical member for each of the segments. Once these profiles are constructed, they can then thus be used to develop specific marketing plans/strategies, etc. The 5 types of demographics for marketing in most cases are 1. Age, 2. Gender, 3. Income level, 4. Race, 5. Ethnicity. Other commonly examined demographics may include gender, race, age, disabilities, mobility, home ownership, employment status, and even location. Let us now define the terms target market and target demographic in the context of this lesson. Target market/demographic, a specific woman or type of woman specified by a man's unique interests. For example, Tony's specific TM/demographic is women who are 5 single (2, 23-year-old Latin women who like dogs and enjoy coffee. Please write in the space provided below your specific TM/demographic. Identifying your target's physical characteristics: hair color, hair length, eye color, glasses, ethnicity/skin tone, height, weight/size, body type. That is thin, slender, athletic, curvy, BBW, etc. Other notes. Why do you believe that you want these specific physical qualities/characteristics, etc.? How might dating a woman with these specific physical qualities/characteristics, etc., make you feel? Identifying your target's personality traits. What are your target's personality traits? Write about what you think she may be like as a person. Stereotype/clique. Age, education, religion, sexual orientation, zodiac, fashion style, occupation, net worth, marital status, has children, wants children, number of previous partners, interests/hobbies, pets, smoke, drink, drugs, deal breakers, if any extra/additional notes. Why do you think that you might want a woman with these specific personality traits/characteristics, etc.? How might dating a woman with these specific personality traits/characteristics, etc., make you feel? Why do you believe that you are attracted to this particular type of woman? Why do you believe that this type of woman, in which you have created, would want to date you? What benefits/value, etc., do you believe that you have for her, and for her life? Please describe briefly what your relationship with this woman might look/be like. Great. Now that you have written down on paper a few of your ideas, we can now move into the next section, which will be the visual portion of this exercise, where you will actually be cutting out pictures/images, etc., and constructing what is called a vision board about your dream girl, or about the types of girls that you want to meet/attract/date, etc., and also what your relationship with them may look like. If you're ready to proceed, then please read on. How to create a vision board. What is a vision board? So, what is a vision board? A vision board, or dream board, etc., is typically a poster board on which one can use so as to glue/paste/tape/collage, etc., various images which one has either printed/drawn, or torn out from various magazines, etc. The idea behind this is that when you surround yourself with images of who you would like to become, what exactly you want to have, where you would like to live, or where you would like to vacation, etc., 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 you are subconsciously reprogramming your mind to begin making any/or life changes necessary in order to match those images/desires, etc. By doing this, your brain, that is your subconscious mind, will begin to proactively move your body into position so as to fulfill these desires. Note, vision boards add clarity to your desires and feeling to your visions. Supplies you will need poster/corkboard, etc., magazines/pictures, scissors, glue, not Elmer's glue, as it makes the pages ripple, rubber cement, tape, markers, stickers, etc., etc., etc. How to make a vision board. Step number 1. First you will want to find, and then begin to go through various pictures and magazines, and start cutting the images from them. Note, no gluing yet. Just enjoy yourself and have lots of fun looking through magazines, and cutting out various pictures/words/headlines, etc., in which strike your fancy. Step number 2. Go through the images and begin to lay out your favorites on the board. Try to eliminate any/all images in which no longer feel right. This is where your intuition must come into play. As you begin to lay out the pictures/images on the board, you'll slowly get a sense how the board should eventually be laid out. For instance, you might assign a theme to each specific corner or place on the board. Or, it may just be that the images want to go all over the place. You can always reassess what you want later. For example, perhaps in the top right corner of the board you may want to dedicate this space to what your dream girl's face may look like, by cutting out different pictures of different girls' faces to whom you may find attractive. While on the top left side of the board, you may dedicate this space to a certain fetish/aesthetic in which your dream girl may possess, such as if your dream girl's is a tongue ring, or a certain type of piercing, or perhaps a certain shaped ass, or if she has braces, etc., etc., etc. Step number 3. Glue, tape or tack down everything onto the board. You may want to begin adding writing if you want. You can paint on it, or write words on it with markers. Remember, this is your vision board. There are no rules in regards to doing it right or wrong. These are your private dreams and fantasies. Step number 4, optional, but powerful. Leave space in the very center of the vision board for a fantastic photo of yourself where you look radiant and happy. Paste yourself in the center of your board. By doing this technique, you will begin to view the board similar to that of a mirror. When you begin waking up and looking at your vision board in the morning and seeing your own face in the center surrounded with images of your beautiful new dream girl, your subconscious mind will begin to move your body so as to physically manifest this desire. Step number 5, hang your vision board in a place where you will see it often. Perhaps on a wall in your bedroom or above your bed, etc. Note, if your vision board is full of erotic/pornographic images, or any other such lewd/licentious behavior, etc., etc., which may not be necessarily be suitably acceptable in the presence of company or other people, then simply hang your vision board inside of a walk-in closet, if you have one, or any other such private place where it will not be seen in the presence of others. Step number 6, stare into your vision board and try to burn the images into your mind. Look at your vision board for a few minutes each and every morning as you wake up, only for about 10-15 minutes, and then consciously ask yourself this question: what can I do today that is going to help bring this girl into my life? Also try turning on your favorite piece of music, or lighting a few candles, and add this ritual into a normal part of your morning/evening routine. Note, enjoy your vision board, for it is the beginning of the unfolding of that in which you desire. Raising your vibration, try and focus upon your new vision board with positive feelings and energy, and really try to feel the feelings of already being with this person. Try to close your eyes and imagine these same images appearing on the scroll of your mind. By thinking about these images throughout your day, your brain will naturally bring you paramount realizations/ideas, etc., of things in which you can do that may bring you closer to your desire. When you receive any specific inspired thoughts, make sure to write them down immediately, and then act upon them. Try to remember that when doing this exercise, to release any/all expectations about getting the girl. That is for another day and another time. While you are doing this exercise, try to focus more solely upon the feelings about being with this girl as if you were already with her. The idea here is that you become so engulfed within the idea of already having her, that the pain, urgency, and desperation of not having her will soon be eliminated from your mind/aura/being/vibration, etc. You see, women can naturally sense intuitively when a man is being needy. Women can instantly tell if a man is the type of man who naturally gets laid and gets women all the time, or if he does not. Most men are emitting an invisible, but highly sensible/recognizable air of desperation about themselves. This behavior must be eliminated by reprogramming your brain by using your vision board so as to help you to start actually believing and experiencing the feelings of already being with your dream girl. You will quickly eliminate any/all feelings of that of a lower vibration, such as sadness and depression, etc., and you will quickly replace them with feelings of that of a higher vibration, such as feelings of happiness, fulfillment, and elation, etc. Day by day, little by little, you will begin shifting your reality from the one in which you are now presently living into that of the new reality in which you are wanting. Soon after using this technique, your new aura and vibration will be absolutely apparent to beautiful women. Women love a man who exudes confidence and appears to be in charge, and who seems to have his life together, rather than a man who seems as if he needs something or someone. Does this make sense? Soon again, in time it will not be you seeking them, it will be them seeking you. Remember these words. Different types of vision boards. There are several different types of vision boards that a person can make/construct. You can make vision boards for things in which you want to buy, or goals in which you might like to achieve. You can make one specifically for the type of dream car/cars/vehicles, etc., that you want, or you can make one about different vacation spots, or other places in which you might like to travel to, etc. In regards to your TM, I would like to suggest to you to sit down and go onto Google Images and then copy and paste several different images of the types of women in which you might like to date. Next, I would like to suggest to you to make 3 separate vision boards. 1. A vision board of what your target looks like. For example, cut out pictures of girls with the color of hair that your dream girl has, or what her smile looks like, or how she might dress, etc. 2. A vision board of what your relationship looks like. For example, is it romantic? If so, then you may want to cut out images from the movie Titanic, for example, or The Notebook, etc. Is it adventurous? If so, then perhaps you may want to cut out pictures/images from the movie Indiana Jones, where the hero is swinging on his whip with his girlfriend on a crazy island adventure, etc. 3. A vision board about what your target is like as a person. For example, if she is a nerd, then cut out pictures of girls who you think are hot, who are wearing glasses, or holding a calculator, etc. Is she a gothic girl? Then perhaps cut out pictures of hot gothic girls shopping at Hot Topic, etc., 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 etc. You can do anything. Remember, again, this is your vision board. These boards/images/fantasies, etc., are for your eyes only. These are your private fantasies. No one is judging you, or what you want/desire as a man. You have the right to have anything that you so desire in a woman, so remember, anything goes. Have fun with this. Let your imagination run wild. Dream away about the types of girls that you want, and, in the end, you will soon discover many new things about what you really want in a woman, and in a relationship. Again, have fun with this. Adding affirmations and taglines after you fill up your vision board with cutouts of pictures that you enjoy looking at, the next thing that you are going to want to do is to start adding in positive affirmations and taglines. What I mean by adding in words, affirmations, and taglines, etc., is to begin adding in words/phrases, etc., to really give your images life. For example, if you have a picture of the kissing scene from the movie Titanic because you fantasize about a romantic relationship with your dream girl, then add in a tagline underneath the picture, which might say something to the extent of, "I am so happy and grateful now that I am in a romantic relationship with my dream girl." Or anything else in which you may feel directly resonates with you and your vision. Remember that you can add anything that you want in these taglines. You can even make them as speech bubbles as if the picture of your dream girl were talking to you. You can even talk right back to her, and have conversations with her if you want to. Remember, don't be afraid to daydream and fantasize about your relationship together with this girl. This exercise may sound absolutely ridiculous, but Albert Einstein even once said, "Imagination is everything." It is the preview of life's coming attractions. Remember that. Note, if you cannot find an exact picture that suits your vision, don't be afraid to sit down and actually try to draw out the image yourself. Where is your target? Is your target a party/club girl? A bookworm, perhaps? Maybe a rock climber/hiker? There are many different cliques in which your dream girl may associate herself with. That is athlete, such as a volleyball player, or gymnast, musician/band geek, goth chick, emo, raver, scene kid, prep, businesswoman/entrepreneur, white trash, ghetto, gangsta, diva, stoner chick, etc., 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 etc. Think about these questions for just a moment. I really want you to try and imagine beyond your dream girl's physique and or physical appearance. etc. And just sit back and ponder on these next few questions for just a moment. 1. Who is she? 2. What is she into? 3. What does she like to do in her spare time? 4. What might be some of her passions? 5. What is she all about? Etc. Finding the answers to any questions such as these can be some major key factors in figuring out exactly where you might actually find your target. What we are looking to do here is to identify specifically where your target market, or where more of the specific types of girls in which you might like to meet / attract / date, etc., may be located in bulk for the highest statistical probability of raising your closing ratio. For example, it is possible to run into a 23-year-old, 2, hot blonde, who has blue eyes, who weighs around 90-100 pounds, shopping around in a grocery store, sure. But higher caliber women such as this will usually tend to be found few and far between. Fair. Unless, however, there is, for example, a swimsuit competition or another particular type of event that is also being hosted on that particular day, and this grocery store is located near this event. In this particular scenario, then there may be several girls who might share this, or a similar type of look. Does this make sense? In most cases, though, a grocery store will usually tend to produce several other obstacles that are not necessarily in relation to the type of woman that you may be searching for. For example, there may randomly be 1, perhaps 2, women, which may happen to be around 23 years old, who are 2, hot, have blonde hair with blue eyes, who weighs around 90-100 pounds. But if that was the type of woman that you were particularly interested in, it would be poor time management to waste your time sitting around a grocery store in hopes of meeting a woman who suited these specific specifications. It would be wiser of a person to instead begin frequenting a venue such as Omnia nightclub at Caesar's Palace Hotel and Casino, or the Hustler Strip Club, or any other types of bikini/modeling events in town, etc., where one would instantly find a much higher population density of girls who are around 23 years old, who are about 2, who are hot, have blonde hair and blue eyes, and who weigh in at around 90-100 pounds. Make sense? Something you might want to begin to ask yourself is if the type of woman in which you desire would actually visit a place/venue, etc., such as Omnia nightclub, or work in a place such as the Hustler Strip Club. For example, if you wanted a more sophisticated type woman but who also shared similar stats, for example, a 23-year-old, 2, hot blonde with blue eyes, who weighs around 90-100 pounds, who is also highly intelligent/intellectual, etc., then you may instead want to try something such as a wine tasting event, or hang out near a local business/hotel that may be hosting a corporate function/event that day. Make sense? In another example of this, if the type of woman to whom you may want to meet/attract/date, etc., is an ultra-health conscious type, for example, a 23-year-old, 2, hot blonde with blue eyes, who weighs around 90-100 pounds, who is ultra-health conscious, spiritual, and into things such as Eastern philosophy, etc., then a better place to find these types of women may be at such places/events as a gym, yoga/Pilates class, a country club, or a private residence with tennis courts. You may need to know someone to get in, or to gain access, Bikram yoga, a farmer's market, Whole Foods, etc., but not at Point's Pub, and not at a McDonald's, as these lower health conscious venues are not where this type of girl will ever be, thus you can eliminate them from your list. Does this make sense? In another type of example such as this, if the type of woman to whom you want to meet/attract/date, etc., is with a specific age range. For example, if you wanted to date girls under the age of 21 and you lived in America, then you would not want to be going out to a 21-plus nightclub, as there will be no girls there who are 18-20 years old, except for the perhaps 1-2 who managed to sneak in. Fair. If you wanted to date girls under the age of 21, but who were still over the age of 18, then you would want to perhaps go to a place such as an 18-plus strip club, or an 18-plus nightclub, or a water/amusement park, etc. Make sense? If you are perhaps an older gentleman who wanted to date an older woman, perhaps someone over 40+, or you were specifically hunting for MILFs, mothers I'd like to fuck, also known as hot moms, then you might want to go out looking for this type of woman at perhaps a karaoke jam, or a bar/pub after 10 p.m. after her children are already in bed, or perhaps at a family cosmic bowling night. You will find that many single mothers will take their children out to bowl and will then leave them on their own, and will then go sit at the bar and get a drink in the hopes to get hit on by a man. There are many great places such as the previous examples of the karaoke jam spot, or the local bar/pub to specifically meet women over the age of 40, if that's what your specific TM was, but not at place such as whatever may be the new hottest nightclub in town, because there will not be many 40+ women there. That would be a place where you would most likely find the super hot, just turned 21, ready to drink and get fucked by guys who are 6'4", buff, and who have tons of money type girls. Make sense? Something you will soon come to discover is that people will most generally separate themselves by classes. If you are looking for a wealthy woman, for example, it would be more ideal to go to a Whole Foods rather than a Walmart, or at a high-scale wine tasting event rather than a beer pong event. Does this make sense? If you, for example, are looking for a woman with money, then you should definitely take this into consideration when choosing your gaming locations. Try and choose a venue/event that is in correlation to how much money you may believe that your specific TM may be earning. If you are looking for a young hot girl and don't care if she has a job, or is broke, etc., then it would be fine to go gaming at any local bar/pub. But if you want to date a woman who is making 6 figures, or is perhaps a millionaire, or who has a certain/specific profession such as a doctor/lawyer, etc., then don't expect to find too many of these types of girls at the local dive bar. This means that if wealthy women were your primary TM, then in this case, you may want to try and find something a bit more classy. Does this make sense? This is something that you must really begin to think about. Finding out exactly where your target might be located is one of the biggest key components in attracting the women that you want. Think about it like this. Don't be expecting to strike gold if you've chosen to work in a salt mine. Identifying your venue demographic, a specific location or event designed to attract specified patrons. For example, the Bellagio Hotel and Casino's target demographic is wealthy men and women, ages 35+. The Mandalay Bay's target demographic is families with money. The Hard Rock Hotel and Casino's target demographic is musicians and business professionals who are 35+, who have money. Make sense? Selecting a well-defined gaming location dependent upon one's specific TM is essential in creating a truly successful gaming strategy, thus enabling the highest population density for your specific TM. For example, Tony's specific TM is Latin women who are about 5'2", around 23-26 years old, who like dogs, and enjoy coffee, who will most likely be found at such venues/events such as the Latin Music Awards, Latin Night, Romeo Santos concerts, salsa dancing events, etc., etc., etc. Can you see now as we build upon these examples, how we are now in fact narrowing down a specific TM/demographic and gaming location/strategy? Now, I'd like to ask you a question. What specific locations do you think that your target might be located at? Why do you think your target would be located in these specific locations? What specific dates/times, etc., do you think your target might be in the vicinity of these locations? Can you make an agreement to yourself right now to begin visiting these locations on a regular basis as part of your normal everyday life? Please write either yes or no, and then hold yourself to this agreement. Note, make it a goal to get out of the house this week, perhaps even later today, and just go to one of these places in which you have chosen, and just go walk around. Try and get used to the surrounding and familiarize yourself with these new locations. Remember, if you can at least just step one foot on one of these properties, then you win. This is the first major step in achieving massive success in meeting the girl of your dreams. Simplifying your target market into 1 to 2 sentences, it is highly important that you are able to narrow down your specific TM quickly into just 1-2 sentences. Please note the format below. Format. My target market consists of women who have physical characteristics, who are character archetype, that would frequently visit such places as physical location, on, date and time. Does this make sense? Great. Now I would like you to try it. Please fill in the blanks in the next section. Your specific target market. My target market consists of women who have blank physical characteristics, who are blank character archetype, that would frequently visit such places as blank physical location, on blank date and time. Any extra/additional notes? Great. Now that you have specifically identified your TM/demographic, you will now be able to proceed into the logistics proportion of this phase. Please, read on. Geospatial and other mapping tactics. Creating a map. One of the most important things that you can begin doing is to begin the construction of a map of any/all locations, identifying where you may believe that your specific type of woman may frequent. This map does not necessarily need to be too extravagant, though it can be. Personally, the map in which I use of Las Vegas is 6x6, and takes up an entire wall in my condo inside of my walk-in closet, but you don't really need to go that far with it. Just a simple 8 1/2 x 11 sheet of paper or a 2x4 piece of poster board will more than suffice. You can also connect your laptop to a big screen TV and just go on Google Earth, but it is better to have a physical map so that you can write notes on it and add pictures if you want to. The importance of using a map can be one of your most valuable tools in the assistance of locating any specific venues/events, etc., in which your target may frequently visit. For example, when you begin to look at a map, you are in fact now seeing your local area from a bird's eye view, which is a very different perspective than that of, for example, driving or walking around and seeing it, or watching ads on TV or the internet. Plus, by using a map, you will now also be able to see any/all of the surrounding areas, or any other specific places that you may wish to go gaming at. For example, you may know of a specific place where your target may be located, but, when using a map, you may then also notice that nearby this specific location is a small park, something you might not have known existed had you not been observing it from a bird's eye view. This new location, that is the park, may now possibly be a great place to bounce your target to if you were perhaps able to get her into your car. You may also notice, for example, that near the surrounding area is a private alleyway, another place which may be used as a seduction location, if in the case of an insta-fuck. Note, remember that the map is not the territory. Just because something is listed on a map, does not necessarily mean that this item still in fact exists. If you see something of particular interest, then I would highly advise you to go check it out before you actually go gaming. Another thing you may want to do when making your map is to pinpoint your home base/starting location. Just as in playing a video game, that is your home, or hotel if you are out of town, etc., etc. This will allow you to estimate things such as travel time from your home to any of these specific locations. Note, try to find locations that are as close to your starting point as possible. If the places where the types of girls that you want to meet/date are 60+ miles away, then you're going to have a very difficult time getting them back to your house later that night for sex. However, if the places in which you choose are in the vicinity of just 1-2 miles away, then you will most likely have a much better statistical probability of closing your target. Make sense? Pre-reconnaissance. The next thing that you are going to want to do is to actually go out to these locations and do some recon. This means going to these specific locations in which you have chosen beforehand. Not the day of. What I mean by this is that, let's say for example that you wanted to go gaming at a certain bar/club, etc., but you had never been to this specific venue before. If you have never been to this specific venue before, then you will not know any of the nearby possible bounce locations, if any. For example, perhaps you meet a girl at the bar and then decide that the two of you would like to go and get some food together right then and there and insta-date. This bounce/transition will go much more smoothly if you know firmly, 100%, that there is in fact a small burger/pizza place just across the street, but you will not know this valuable information unless you first actually physically go to this location beforehand and walk around and actually learn about the surrounding area. Does this make sense? Again, the map is not the territory. Just because the map lists a burger place does not mean that it is actually there physically. Also, just because there is a burger place there physically does not mean that it is open 24/7. This means that if you need a bounce location at 3 a.m., for example, and the burger place that you had thought you were going to use is now closed, then you will be shit out of luck. Remember, learn to handle your logistics ahead of time. Very important. Note, it is the small things such as these that will ultimately cost you a lay, if you do not see to it that these things are handled properly ahead of time. Personal story in Las Vegas. One of my favorite places that I like to go gaming is at a locals bar located in Town Square called the Blue Martini. This venue attracts many single white females, who are a bit more sophisticated, and who have a bit more money and class than the average female bar goer, who are around the ages of 21-35. When it comes to total score, TS, metrics and analytics, etc., I have scored more same-night lays, SNLS, at this particular venue than at any other location in Las Vegas. An interesting thing that I found out about this venue is that just across the way there is a large parking structure. In this parking structure there are dozens of cameras, except on one certain side, on one specific floor. Perhaps they had just not been installed at that time yet, who knows? But the point is this. Because I did my pre-reconnaissance ahead of time, and discovered this by walking around the surrounding area of the Blue Martini, not the day of, but days before I actually went there to game, I found this small little secret. A perfect place to park my car and bring drunk girls back to my car to, in my method of seduction, to quote-unquote, listen to my mixtape and then start making out with them in the front seat of my car, and then move them into the back seat to fuck them. Which I have now done literally dozens of different times, with dozens of different girls that I have met there. As you can see, this is not necessarily something that you're going to want to be doing on the fly. This is something that needs to be taken care of beforehand so that when you actually go out gaming, in the attempts to meet, attract, and have sex with your target, things will naturally proceed to go smoothly. Does this make sense? I am serious here, guys. Don't shortchange yourself. Do your recon. Mobile apps. Other things that you can use to help you out are many different types of mobile apps. Apps such as Google Earth, Google Maps, Yahoo Maps, MapQuest, and several other such location/navigation devices. I would definitely recommend doing some of your own research on this. Personally, I have several apps which I keep installed on my phone. I like to use Google Earth because it will show me the locations in which I am going to go gaming at in 3D. I also like to use special apps that will estimate my travel time and alert me to any traffic problems. You would not want to try to bounce your target back to your house and then get caught in a traffic jam. It would ruin the mood. Again, it is the little things such as this which can ultimately cost you a lay, so don't be the one. Weather scanning. Lastly in this section, one of the most important things that you are going to want to keep in mind, as bizarre as it may sound, is the weather. For example, let's say you wanted to date girls who are into music, perhaps a specific band that you just happen to really connect with. Now, let's imagine that this band that you like just happens to be throwing a concert in a local park nearby. Imagine that you get all dressed up and drive to the event, and then, just as you arrive, lo and behold, a huge hailstorm comes pummeling down upon everyone there, and then concert gets shut down. How do you think this most unprecedented event might alter your specific gaming strategy that day? This is exactly why you have to be aware of the weather. Living in Las Vegas, I have seen events like this time and time again. It may be hot at 105 degrees 1 minute, and then, 20 minutes later, there is a giant sandstorm blowing in. Out of nowhere, gale force winds can pick up and let everyone running for cover. One time it began snowing, and even though we only got 4 of snow, all of the local businesses, and even the local airport flipped out and shut down. This is why it is so important to remember to check the weather report before you actually go out gaming. It's very easy to check the weather report. There are dozens of free apps to do this right on your phone. Try to start making it a normal everyday habit, and plan your gaming strategies accordingly. You don't want to be planning to go try to meet women at a park, or a fairground, or amusement park, etc., and then wake up that morning to pouring rain, right? Final thoughts after going through this process. I am sure you have undoubtedly learned a few new things about the types of women that you want, and also a few new things about yourself as well. After going through this material, I am going to imagine that perhaps a few things have changed in your mind, and you may now want to reassess everything altogether again so as to really develop a real solid game plan. What I mean by this is now that you have built a map, now that you have constructed your vision board, I am sure you have also now discovered a few new locations in which your target may be located, and I am sure that you have perhaps found out some new, and perhaps vital information, to which may then lead you towards even better success. If this is the case, then I would urge you to reread through this manual and reassess your gaming strategy in its entirety, and then make sure to visit my new website, www.ryanjohnsmisslifestylecoaching.com, and proceed into the next phase/section in the real game method, which I call Lifestyle Mastery, LM. In this next section of the human mating/courtship process, after you now know who your target is, and where you might find her, you will now want to learn exactly how to create a specific gaming strategy, and how to radically begin to alter your life so as to naturally become the type of man that your ideal target wants/needs/desires, etc. This way, when you show up to these types of venues, which you have just previously selected, you will not have to use any types of cheesy pickup lines or gimmicks in order to attract your target, as most dating coaches/gurus will teach you. When you follow my method and begin to change your life so as to become the type of man who naturally attracts beautiful women, then she will be wanting to approach you. I would definitely urge you to check it out. Good luck. And don't forget, stay on target. A letter from Ryan. Dear friend, I want to personally thank you for purchasing my product. I hope that this book has brought you a few new insights, and I hope that my advice will assist you in achieving more success with women and dating. For more advice on attracting women, make sure to visit my new website, www.ryanjohnsmisslifestylecoaching.com. To your success, this is Ryan Jaunzemis. I wish you all the best. Thank you, and best wishes to you all. Your wingman, Ryan Jaunzemis. About the author Ryan Christopher Jaunzemis, born February 5, 1980 in Inglewood, California, also known as Ryan J. by many of his fans/followers, is an American-born virtuoso, a rapper, singer/songwriter, executive producer/director, professional athlete, professional inline skater/so-aper, male model, best-selling author, master pickup artist, lifestyle, dating, relationship, and self-help guru, internet marketer, photographer/videographer, graphic designer, tattoo artist, black belt/martial arts master, and recording/theatrical engineer. Ryan is the chief organizer of the Las Vegas PULR and has been rated the #1 dating coach in Las Vegas. He has recently been featured in several hundred different videos, websites, and internet publications, including Las Vegas 7 and City Life magazines, PUA Magazine, www.pualingo.com, Her Obsession and Obsession Systems magazines, Vice Media, The Ride Channel, Complex Sneakers Magazine, Networka, Unofficial Networks, Ethan and Hilla, H3H3 Productions, as well as several professional skating/swiping videos and DVDs, and has now reached over 10 million combined YouTube views. Ryan is the author/producer of over 50+ different books, CDs, DVDs, and other publications, and is currently working on several new projects as well. Ryan currently resides in Las Vegas, Nevada. For more information on Ryan Jaunzemis, please visit www.ryanjaunzemisbiography.com. This concludes this audiobook. For more information, please make sure to visit www.ryanjaunzemislifestylecoaching.com. Thank you.